Lori's confident. Lori's Rowena says she wants an osteophysio in Ottawa. That's what it is, osteosurgery, right? There's no reason why, for 30 years, that maybe it's just something that's active. If you sit with my knee on your chair, Lori was like, no. For extending that massively. Yeah, you mentioned the stand desk, but thanks for everything. Everyone else has yeah. Nobody uses it. When are we going to get the details on your thing? Your celebration? You have a date.
Oh, yeah. Next week or the week after. That's why I said save the date. What's the date? May 7th.
Can't take any more.
No. For an open house. You have an open house, it's an invite only.
Oh, so we save the date, but we don't know if we're ready.
I'm pretty sure for an open house for my 15th anniversary in business. And Scott's 10th.
Hey, are you getting my emails?
I do get your emails. I'm just very bad at tables. I'm the worst with tables. I don't fill out forms.
Do you want me to pre-do it?
If you do all the forms, I'll play you two references and we'll work through it.
Done. Next time, just email me that.
Okay.
Just email me back. Oh, I
thought it was automated.
No. It's my assistant's away, and I'm trying. So I'm trying to figure out this wonderful staff set. So the question is, are they working? Are they not working? Are they recruiting? Are they not recruiting? Right? So I'm kind of stepping into the level to try to anytime it says data, it's not auto. Yes. I paid. I've just been hanging on the paperwork. He carries a pencil, not tonight. Not tonight. He carries a pencil everywhere.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just a 5-minute warning that we'll have you in your seats. And there are free non-alcoholic samplings at the Kempville Brewing table at the back. They'll also be there at the intermission and after the agenda is through. But 5 minutes.
Full-time recruit going in Ottawa now, so it's going to get big. I was in a house in IBD yesterday. Maybe that's their flavor. That's really love their, like, I went all 10 forward with my fancy blinds jobs. Twice now, Lori and once Matt. Probably have lovely as well. No, you just get up and go. It's right beside her dad. So, everybody's dying. Coconut? Oh, yeah, you mean like a Yakima? Yeah. But if she says, trying to get these connections.
We're ready to get started, so take your seats, please, and we will commence the evening's entertainment.
We should say something about the delay, just a technical difficulty. Or do we
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry about the delay. We had a little technical streaming difficulty. The lords of digital commerce delayed us a little bit, but we're now, I believe, live online and certainly live in the room. So welcome all. I'm William Pearl. I'm the owner of Stevens Creek Decor Center, just a short hop, skip, and a jump, and the chair of the North Grenville Chamber of Commerce. Standing beside me tonight is my co-host again, Tina Murray, who's a mortgage agent with Dominion Lending Centers. And we're honored to be here for the Mayor's annual address, representing the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for joining us tonight as we join together to both discuss the future of our community and we all play and make it amazing.
So a little introduction about the Chamber of Commerce. We are a dedicated group of business owners, professionals, and community leaders who work together to support and strengthen North Grenville's economy. Our mission is to be the voice of business, ensuring that our members have the resources, opportunities, and advocacy they need. We would like to take a moment to celebrate what we're really proud of. We recently were named as one of the fastest growing chambers in all of Canada, and we think that's a reason to celebrate. Thank you. We were ranked number 8 among the top 10, so that is fabulous. And it is a clear reflection of the innovation, determination, and success of our local businesses. This incredible growth showcases the hard work of our entrepreneurs and the dynamic energy of our community. And we would be very remiss to not mention our Executive Director, Terry Lynn McAvoy, for all her work for the Chamber.
As the board chair, I'd also like to thank our board members. There's Tina Murray, mortgage agent, Dominion Lending, beside me. Lisa Hale, Compass Accounting. I don't think Lisa's here tonight. Terry Gray from Tibidabo Home Improvements. Andre Rancor, of course, Man About Town. Karen Quigley of Saltastic. And I got Tina already. I'm trying to read my own notes, sorry. Beyond supporting the businesses today, we're also investing in the future at the Chamber. We introduced a scholarship program this year, ensuring that young entrepreneurs in the community have the opportunities that they need to thrive in business in the future as entrepreneurs. And we also have been working closely with the University of Ottawa with some of their graduate students on projects within the Chamber. So it's not just about business. Business is what Rowena always says when I have a conversation. Business. It's not just about this. We also care about giving back. And this year, the Chamber's donation to local charities, we raised over $8,000 through community events that were donated locally.
So one of the most important ways we do this is through strong partnerships, especially with the municipality of North Grenville. We want to take a minute to thank Deb Wilson, who is a councillor here, and she is the Chamber liaison. Thanks, Deb.
Where's Deb? There she is.
We recognize that economic growth and community well-being go hand in hand. That is why we work closely with the local municipal government to advocate for policies, projects, and initiatives that benefit both businesses and residents.
We're also fortunate to have strong leadership at the federal level, advocating for our region, and we're honored here tonight to have our Member of Parliament for Leeds Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes, Michael Barrett. Elected in 2018, MP Barrett has been a dedicated advocate for our region, focusing on economic growth, rural development, and government accountability. As a strong voice for local businesses and communities, he continues to work tirelessly to support initiatives that strengthen North Grenville and beyond. Please welcome us and please join us in welcoming MP Michael Barrett. Thank you, Michael. You can come up to the...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for giving me the opportunity just to bring greetings as your Member of Parliament. I feel like over the last couple of years, we've worn out the phrase that we're in unprecedented times. And so I feel like we're in unprecedented times, though. And the challenges that we face as a community and as a province and as a country are monumental. But we bring a distinct advantage as a region. I have the perspective of having the opportunity to work with members of Parliament from across Canada, of course. So not just in the Conservative caucus, but the 338 elected members from across Canada. And hearing their stories and hearing from witnesses who come before parliamentary committees on a variety of topics, I've been given the perspective of how the integration in our community between organizations like the Chamber, like the municipality, and the involvement with all levels of government, the Economic Development Office with the United Counties, with the separate partner municipalities, and of course working with my provincial counterpart, our outstanding Member of Provincial Parliament, Steve Clark, and we're able to put our oar in the water and row together even when it feels like we're trying to get ourselves upstream. And the difference, I think, between us and other parts of the country is because we're doing it together and we get all of the right people in the boat, we're not without a paddle, and we're all rowing in the same direction. So it really is an advantage when we have this level of collaboration. Events like this are very important, and I appreciate I appreciate the work of the Chamber. I appreciate the advocacy of Mayor Peckford and her council for the community and for the region. Mayor Peckford is not shy to reach out when there is advocacy that needs to be done, and I appreciate that. And really, I'd like to ask you to join me in applauding Mayor Nancy Peckford for her tireless work in advocating for this community. And she works well, the mayor works well with others. She has a great relationship with her council. She has a great relationship with the county councillors. And with myself and Steve Clark, we're always happy to hear what exciting and what might seem like a bit ambitious dreams are coming from the mayor's office and from the council chambers and from the business community here in North Grenville. And guess what? They seem to get it done. They deliver. So they're to be commended for that, and it's a pleasure to be able to partner with you. I'd just like to note that that MPP Clark was unable to be here this evening and want to bring greetings on his behalf. He was sworn in yesterday, not sworn at, sworn in yesterday at the provincial legislature as our member of provincial parliament for this next term, and I want to extend my congratulations to him for that, because he's worked incredibly hard for this community as well. So it's a real delight. I regret that I won't be able to fill my full 45 minutes that you gave me, Mayor Peckford. I know everyone's tremendously disappointed, but I want to thank you all for coming out, putting our heads together so that we can continue to punch above our weight, because this community really does deliver for its residents. We really do support our businesses, and never has it seemed more important to buy local, to shop local, to support Canadian, because my goodness, am I ever proud to be from the greatest community in the greatest province, in the greatest country that will always be a sovereign country in the world. Thanks for having me this evening.
We're going to have you. Thank you, MP Barrett. We know it's a busy time for you, and we appreciate you coming out to support the North Grenville community.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We would like to invite Mayor Peckford to the podium to say a few words of welcome.
Thank you, and I won't take a lot of time now, because I will be addressing you later with some substantive items around the budget and other developments. But I would first like to offer a land acknowledgement at events where the municipality plays an active role. It is now our custom to recognize the lands on which we currently reside. The municipality of North Grenville acknowledges that the municipality operates on the territory of the Anishinaabe. We recognize all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who now call North Grenville their home. We respect and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship, and we commit to Indigenous informed decision-making to foster the path towards reconciliation. And I've read that a lot of times over the last couple of years, but I always want to make sure that I get it right, because the language for this land acknowledgement was a process. We worked with an Indigenous advisory circle, and in fact with some external experts who helped really us to develop a land acknowledgement that would be suitable for North Grenville. And I believe Lorraine Reckmans is here, and Lorraine was certainly among those who deeply informed this version of the land acknowledgement. So I want to thank Lorraine. So some other thank yous. Of course, I'm really thrilled to be here with the Chamber and honored that Michael Barrett, our federal member of Parliament, would come. And as he said, MPP Steve Clark was getting sworn in, and obviously has an exciting 4 years ahead, a tough 4 years, we think, but certainly given what's happening south of the border. So to Terry Lynn, of course, and Will, thank you for agreeing to step up to be the hosts. I also just want to give a shout out, of course, to Matt Gilmer, Tammy Hurlbert, Megan McDonald, Bruce Enlow, Keena Boyce. Our CEO, Karen Dunlop, is here. Where are you, Karen? Somewhere in the back, thank you. Emily Farrell is here. Emily is the CEO of our library. I also know we have representatives from the Old Town Kemptville BIA. I believe also we have Katie Nolan here from Community Futures. I see Shelley Mitchell, who's chair of our BIA. I know Ann Weir was hoping to be here. And we have many members of our advisory committee and various task forces. So a lot of you are already municipally engaged, but most importantly, we have an exciting array of local businesses to celebrate. I know Will and Tina, I think I just said Will and Terry Lynn, but I meant Will and Tina, have graciously agreed to co-host the evening. They're always fun to have a chat with, but Terry Lynn McAvoy, who's executive director of the Chamber, has done a lot of heavy lifting as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you for what is a wonderful tribute to our local businesses. And I will say, when we first did this event a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when we were getting out of the pandemic, we knew how important it was to really highlight some key business milestones, and we've really grown that program out tonight. So we have, I think, about 8 to recognize, but that's a sign of a thriving business community, and I'm so glad I get to turn it over so we can do some celebrations.
Okay.
Mayor Peckford.
Mayor Nancy. It's the only time I felt like the Academy Awards. You have to drag the people to put them in the right direction. We're going to recognize, as Nancy said, some new businesses in our community and some well-established businesses in our community. The first recognition tonight goes out to a new development, literally, that's helping to shape the future of North Grenville. Oxford Village, which is being developed by Mattamy Homes, is North Grenville's newest neighborhood that blends urban convenience with the charm of the countryside. Featuring scenic walking trails, easy access to downtown, and Energy Star certified homes, Oxford Village is built with sustainability and modern living in mind. Please join me in welcoming Oxford Village to our community. Speaking on behalf of Mattamy Homes is Vice President Kevin Murphy. Please come to the podium. It's nice to meet you.
You too. All right. Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Murphy. I'm the Vice President for Land Development with Mattamy Homes. And thank you for the opportunity to speak. I did promise to be short and sweet when I came up here, so hopefully I can deliver on that commitment. But I'll just give a quick introduction to Mattamy Homes and who we are and kind of what we're doing here. So, founded in 1978 by Peter Gilgan in Toronto. I won't go through year by year since 1978, but we certainly grew very quickly over the last 47 years. And as of now, we are Canada's largest new home builder. And also, in fact, North America's largest privately owned new home builder. And so we've got operations right across North America, including Ottawa, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, Arizona, Texas, North Carolina, Florida, and as of now, right here in North Grenville. So we're proud to help more than 8,000 families every year realize the dream of home ownership. In Kemptville here, in Oxford Village, we're delivering at a pace of about 100 new homes each year. So we're very excited to be able to do that right here in this community. Generally, the scope of Mattamy's operations include, land acquisition, community design and development, housing and parkland design, and with a particular emphasis on creating complete communities. The other thing that we've done is we've added the core value of sustainability to our brand. And so we look to lead the entire home building industry in developing sustainable communities. Our head office is in Canada, and we've been delivering homes in the Ottawa area for about 20 years. But Oxford Village is our first venture outside of the Ottawa boundaries. So in Oxford Village, we have just over 300 homes to deliver. And that includes all different ranges of products, right from 43-foot, 36-foot, 30-foot wide single-family homes. We also have 21-foot townhomes, and coming up shortly in a new phase about to open up will be our 21-foot wide back-to-back village homes. So a full array of product in the community. We're happy to be able to provide a wide range of sustainable and affordable products that new home buyers can work their way into. When we're looking to build, Kemptville was a great fit right away. A short commute down the 416 from Ottawa. However, all of the amenities all exist right here, right now. So you don't need to leave the community right here. So it was a great fit with the added benefit of being a welcoming small town charm and having access to those great scenic trails and local shops that you'd mentioned in the introduction. And I'm sure some of the other local shops that you'll hear from later on today as well. So the ability to provide that sustainable and kind of affordable mix of products in a fantastic area was certainly ideal for Mattamy Homes. And to go along with that, the significant investments that are being put into the infrastructure in the area played a pretty big, significant role in our decision to come out here as well. So recent upgrades in parkland infrastructure down in Riverside, and water and wastewater upgrades, and then certainly a massive investment in Highway 43 ongoing right now. They all played a really big role in how we chose to come out here and be able to build in this area. So that's a little bit about Mattamy. I certainly want to thank the municipal staff in the area. Starting a new venture in a new area is a bit of a daunting task, but it's been exceptionally smooth, I'd say, coming in here with some help navigating all of the different protocols that are slightly different in every municipality, but it's been a fantastic experience so far coming in here. And then thank you to the community as well. So very proud to be able to grow with you as the entire municipality grows pretty significantly over the next little bit. We're happy to be right there alongside, sharing in what a wonderful community North Grenville is. So, thank you very much.
Come up for pictures.
Oh, sorry. Kevin, can you come here for 1 second?
Hard to find good help around here. So they're going to get some pictures done, and while they're getting pictures, I'm going to introduce our next business. And so I wanted to introduce a really cool little business here in town, and they bring a little cheeky fashion and fun to Kemptville. And before I introduce them, I just wanted to tell you, I'll just step away from the microphone so you can adore and admire my outfit. Because I got it from Mama's Cheeky Co Boutique. And I got it last fall, and 2 days ago I was like, what am I gonna wear to this address? And I was like, I'll wear this outfit. And then I get my script and realize I get to introduce you. So that's awesome. So Courtney and Amanda are sisters, and they own Mama's Cheeky Boutique, and it is really it is more than a store. It's a passion project built on style, creativity, and a love for the community. So welcome up, Amanda and Courtney.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Campbell, and this is my sister Courtney Miller. Together we're the proud owners of Mama's Cheeky Co Boutique, a women's clothing boutique located right in the heart of downtown Kemptville.
For those of you who may not be familiar, Mama's Cheeky Boutique is a unique store offering a curated mix of new and consigned clothing, accessories, as well as a selection of home goods and gifts. But beyond the beautiful fashion and gifts we offer, there's a very special story behind the name.
So Mama's Cheeky Co Boutique is a tribute to our late mother, Connie Brown. Our mom's faith in God and her fierce love for her family illuminated every corner of her life. Her kindness, dedication, and zest for life are reflected in the heart of our boutique. She was our greatest supporter and a constant source of encouragement to us.
Growing up, if we ever did something bold or a little too daring, Mom would always say, "Don't be bold, girls." She believed in being kind, thoughtful, and respectful, but she also encouraged us to have fun and enjoy life. Of course, we didn't want to call our store Mama's Bold Boutique, so we decided on Cheeky as a playful nod to the lighthearted spirit she instilled in us. It's a name that makes us smile, and we hope it brings a little joy to those who hear it.
Bringing our vision to life in Kemptville means so much to us. We grew up here, attended the old North Grenville District High School on Prescott Street, and spent our childhood working, learning, and playing in this community. Fun fact, I used to work at Bond Bakery, where we are currently located. So our roots run deep, and we are so proud to contribute something meaningful to the place that shaped us.
We believe our boutique fills a real need in Kemptville, especially when it comes to providing stylish and affordable clothing options. In today's world, it's more important than ever to offer choices that make women feel confident, beautiful, and empowered without breaking the bank. That's why we've embraced the consignment model.
So every piece of clothing and accessory we accept through consignment goes through a careful vetting process to ensure that only the highest quality items make it into our store. This curated selection means our patrons don't have to sift through endless racks. Every item is something we would proudly wear ourselves.
In addition to consigned pieces, we are thrilled to carry a variety of Canadian brands that reflect both style and affordability. For those looking for something a little extra special, we also offer higher-end brands such as Free People and Lola Espelita, a new brand of ours. And for luxury lovers, we feature consigned items from iconic designers like Gucci, Prada, and Louis Vuitton. No matter your style or budget, we aim to provide something for every woman who walks through our doors.
So being selected to participate in tonight's event is an incredible honor for us, and we want to express our deepest gratitude to the Chamber, the municipality, the mayor, and our families for their support during our first year in business. The encouragement that we have received from our fellow business owners in Kemptville and the greater Kemptville community has really been overwhelming.
We are excited about the future. As we continue to grow, our mission remains the same: to offer a space where women feel welcomed, valued, and celebrated. Mama's Cheeky Boutique isn't just about fashion, it's about connection. It's about honoring our mother's legacy and sharing her warmth and joy with everyone we meet.
So again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you for supporting our dream, for shopping locally, and for believing in the spirit of small businesses. We are incredibly proud to be part of this wonderful community where we grew up, and we look forward to many more years of providing fun and cheeky shopping experiences for all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies. Our next business is a new facet in the jewel of the Rideau that combines scenic beauty with warm hospitality and great cinnamon buns. The Boathouse Cafe is located in beautiful Burritts Rapids, right across from the lock station. The Boathouse is the perfect stop, whether you're arriving by car, boat, bicycle, or wrapping up a walk along the tip-to-tip trail. Owner Marion McLeish has created a welcoming spot for all to enjoy. Welcome, Marion.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marianne McLeish, and I'm the owner of the Boathouse Cafe here in North Grenville. If you haven't been yet, I'm located across from the Burritts Rapids Lock Station on River Road. We're a year-round cafe, and upstairs we also have a beautiful Airbnb. Many people have asked me why I chose to open a business in the area, and I usually respond with a joke, something along the lines of, I get bored when things are easy, or stress is my friend, or I hate sleep. But that's a lie, I love sleep, and truthfully, it's just that I've always dreamed of owning a cafe somewhere along the Rideau Canal waterway. Although I did not grow up here in North Grenville, I did spend many summers at lakes and locks along the Rideau Canal, and have always loved its historic charm and beauty. When I discovered the commercial property located on River Road, I couldn't stop dreaming about its potential, and in a matter of minutes, I had designed what the inside and outside would look like if I could get my hands on it. Back then, I was most excited about designing the space, what I would serve, the future potential of the business, and the fun events that I would host in the space. Back then, I didn't realize that when I opened my doors, it would actually be the people that I met day to day, my local and loyal customers, and my absolutely amazing staff that would end up being my favorite part of running the cafe. My customers range from the very young to the very old, and most of my staff are young adults, many that live within walking distance of the cafe. They're attending school, pursuing their dreams, and have a big future ahead. The people that I have met since opening my cafe come from a variety of backgrounds and range greatly in age. And I always tell people I have the best customers and the best staff, and I do truly believe that. So I have thought long and hard about what all of these people have in common. And the only thing that I can come up with is that they all live in this local area. They are very passionate about our local community, about giving back, about the arts, about the environment, and about supporting local businesses. So I didn't grow up in North Grenville or even the Ottawa area, and although I have lived here for over 15 years, I still often feel a little bit like an outsider. But I can say that because of the people I've met since opening my cafe, I feel more like a part of the community now than ever before. I recognize friendly faces in the grocery store. I'm up to date on all the new and exciting events that are happening in North Grenville area. Kemptville is growing, and to me, as an outsider, it's not hard to see why. There have been so many new exciting projects and developments happening in this city lately. The disc golf, the renovations at the outdoor pool, the community skateway on the river are just a few. There is so much that this city has to offer, and I am really excited to see what's next. I believe that Kemptville is growing in a positive way, and much of that is thanks to our mayor and the municipal team. Opening a business is hard. That's likely not a surprise to most of you. Opening a business shortly after the pandemic, when interest rates spiked, prices increased, and economy kind of went to shambles, was nearly impossible. But here I am, a year and a half later, after opening, and I'm still standing. I owe that a lot to the people of North Grenville, to my loyal customers who believed in me and wanted to see me succeed, to my family, including the man over there, my father, who's taking a video, to my staff for bearing with me and teaching me, helping me grow in ways I didn't know I needed to, and to the city, the municipality, the Chamber of Commerce, and their support along the way. They have spread the word, have shared videos and images of my cafe on their social media accounts, hosted meetings in my space, and more. Like many entrepreneurs in the beginning stages of opening my business, I thought I could do it alone. I was pretty confident in myself, in my drive, and in my abilities. I'm a quick learner, I thought. I can do this, no problem. But without the support from the local community, I'm not sure, if I would be standing here today and if my business would have made it this far. So, thank you, Mayor Nancy, for leading this community in what I think is the right direction, to the Chamber of Commerce for introducing me to a great network of people and business in North Grenville. Thank you for inviting me here to speak tonight to tell you a little bit of my story. I am proud to be part of this community now and part of the story of this growing city. and to continue to meet new people, make new connections, and to hopefully continue to give back. So yeah, thank you.
And to put a little plug in for the food, I was at an event there last night and I had a delightful quiche and parsnip and apple soup. It was really good. So I highly encourage you to go out and try them. So now we get to raise a toast to a business that knows how to bring people together. Founded by 4 friends with a shared love for craft beer and community, Kemptville Brewing Company has become a staple gathering place. Speaking on behalf of the brewery tonight is Jocelyn Major. Welcome, Jocelyn. Let's hear what's brewing. Where are you? Oh.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I just noticed everybody had papers. I thought we were just supposed to be here and wing it. So I'm Jocelyn. I'm one of the owners. And I just want to start. I know my girls are watching the live stream right now. And I just want to let them know, this is the reason you're practicing public speaking at school. Because one day, you're going to have to visualize an entire crowd in their underwear, not laugh, and stay professional. So this is the reason right now. Thank you. I was kind of hoping the clapping would last longer, but here we are, okay. More filler. No, when I heard about the boathouse and the community, I was like, I know I wanted to say that, but honestly, it's the same feedback that we have. The community has been incredible, but the staff that we have is what makes going there every single day such a joy. And again, they're from the community, they're local people. We're almost at 60 right now, which, 4 guys coming up with this concept years ago, maybe 2 to 3 people. I'd make the beer, would serve the pizzas, we'd have a helper, and here we are, 60 employees. But it's our, We've just finished our 12th week. It's been great because we got the Christmas rush, which we've learned so much from. People really like beer and hats. And then we got nominated for the FACE Awards, which just people thinking of us, knowing that we're around, we were so excited. And the fact that we won the best local brewery 12 weeks in is just incredible. And none of it would be without any of you. So I think that's it. The only thing I want to mention is that we do have happy hour tonight. We start at 8 and we are open till close, so thank you very much. We close at 11. Thank you.
I know where I might be later on. Now we turn to some businesses that have been serving Kemptville community for decades. Everyone will be familiar with the next gentleman. B&H Grocer has been owned by Jim and Judy Beveridge. And has been a cornerstone of the Kemptville community for over 60 years. Let's welcome Jim Beveridge to the stage and give a big round of applause for B&H Grocer.
Rather humbling to have that applause for something where I look at 62 years since my father started the store with his partner. They came to a town, Dad was 28 years old, had lived in a house with running water and electricity for only 5 years at that point, and came here on advice from a close friend because the highway went through the center of town. It was a vibrant, exciting place. A lot of things have changed. Back at that time, 1963, Bob Dylan was singing, "The times are a-changing," and haven't they? KES was where the campus is now, Kemptville Agricultural School. A lot of really top-end research being done there. Later became KCAT, where it became an all-inclusive school, and later on University of Guelph, and I won't touch on that period at all, but 2017, we were lucky enough that became part of North Grenville's assets, and it is a great asset for downtown because a lot of people that go to the campus end up coming to downtown, help growing that, as we've seen since 1978 when the highway bypassed and all of the changes have happened there. And all of a sudden look around and there's new businesses that are coming to downtown, exciting businesses, and with that they're bringing more customers. B&H is luckily seeing more. The other day I had a customer complain they couldn't find a parking spot. What a great problem to have. The one thing that hasn't changed in Kemptville or North Grenville since my very early years was that sense of community, that small town feeling. And it is, it's a town where it's awkward to refer to Nancy as Madam Mayor. We all love the fact that we can say hello to John Barclay, Debbie Wilson, Doreen. It is a community where there's friendly faces everywhere, and we don't have to be embarrassed thinking about somebody picturing us in our underwear. All the new businesses that have arrived, thank you. Listening to the passion that you have. The businesses like mine, where we've been around for a long time, it reminds us of the passion that we once had and helps us bring it back to our table. So thank you for supporting us for those 62 years. Judy, unfortunately, is sick. She would have liked to have been here. I would have liked that she was the one standing here thanking you, but looking forward to our 75th, and we hope we're all around to enjoy it. Thanks.
Wow, that's incredible. I overlook the parking lot, so I see it all the time. Lots of cars, which is awesome. I get to add a 70th anniversary, and this business has been delivering colors and vibrant colors for 70 years. So the flower shop, can you believe it? It has been in our community for that long, and the owner, Jen LaBelle, is here with us tonight, and so we are so incredibly pleased to welcome you, Jen, and congratulate you on this milestone. She looks good for 70, doesn't she? Rather slow, but you know.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor, Tina, the North Grenville Chamber, and the local residents of North Grenville for your warm welcome. It's a privilege to be here with you this evening. This year marks a significant milestone for the Flower Shop. It's our platinum anniversary. As we celebrate 70 years of business in Kemptville, the Flower Shop's success is a testament to strong business continuity and the legacy of stewardship, each owner playing a role in ensuring it remains a cherished business in our community. In 1955, Jim Smith opened the Kemptville Florist under its original name on Clothier Street. After a devastating fire in 1959, he then rebuilt in 1960 at the very location that you visit today. To all those that came before me, I owe a debt of gratitude. As the sixth owner of this legacy, I committed to not only preserving its rich history, but to also driving strategic growth and innovation. We are also expanding our offerings while being mindful of our environmental impact and focusing on minimizing our carbon footprint. I take great pride in building genuine connections with our customers, remembering their names, preferences, and their stories. When a customer walks in and is greeted by name, when we anticipate their needs without them having to ask, it creates a sense of belonging and trust. This is what sets us apart. Relationship-driven service is the foundation of our business. No AI, algorithm, or automated service can replicate the warmth of a personal touch or the intuition of human interaction. At the Flower Shop, we do more than deliver flowers. We cultivate connection and community. Every order that leaves our shop has been customized to your needs and has been wowed with our personalized touch. Whether it's a hand-picked bouquet, a seasonal outdoor planter, or even a bag of mulch. We believe in making every customer's experience a special one. Flowers are a universal language of emotion. They express what words often cannot. They mark life's most significant memories. Being a part of your special moments, both joyful and heartbreaking, is a privilege we cherish. No matter how much technology advances, the Flower Shop remains deeply rooted in tradition. That's why we still answer the phones, no automated menus, no pressing one to reach a real person, just a friendly voice ready to listen. In a world of recorded prompts, digital walls, this small act reminds people that they still matter. Automation has often replaced conversation. This simple act of human communication not only carried us through the pandemic, but remains one of the most important parts of our service today. As technology continues to dominate customer interactions, an aging population is too often overlooked. Many businesses prioritize automation over accessibility, leaving those who struggle with technology feeling disconnected. At the Flower Shop, we know that not everybody wants to order flowers from an app. Many prefer the familiar comfort of real conversation. That's why we remain committed to our personal service. Whether you call us directly or walk through the doors, every customer deserves to feel valued and heard. I believe in the little things, the small things that make a big impact. The pens, the calendars, the candies. Some might call them extras, but to us, they're essentials. A free pen isn't just a free pen, it's a reminder that we appreciate your business. The calendar will keep us connected all year long. And candy, well, who doesn't love candy? It's not about the item, it's about the feeling of being thought of. Just like each petal comes together to create a beautiful flower, it takes every person, every connection, and every small act of kindness to build a strong community. Alone, a petal is just a piece, but together, they create something truly meaningful. We take great pride in giving back to our community, dedicating our time, resources to support local events, schools, and charitable organizations like Beth Donovan and many others. As an entrepreneur for 21 years and counting, I have been proud to raise my family and serve this incredible community, a place that has given us so much. What has started out as a business has grown into a family legacy, now spanning generations. As a family-owned and multi-generational shop, our roots run deep, nurtured by the connections that we've built. It's more than just flowers and plants. It's about celebrating life, love, and the community that holds us together. Today, to our loyal customers, our friends, our neighbors, and our fellow business partners, I thank you. Your support has allowed the Flower Shop to thrive. Flowers aren't just our business. They're our way of bringing beauty and meaning to your life. Here's to many more years of connection and community. Thank you so much.
Next up, a business that has been supplying our community with the tools that it needs to keep working for over 30 years. You got a flood? Where do you find a fan? You got a project? Where do you need a scaffold? You look to Neil at First Stop Rentals for those services. Come on up, Neil. We're here to celebrate with you over 30 years in business.
Oh, that's my roast speech. Hi, my name's Neil. I'd like to take this moment to thank everybody for coming. Privileged to be here. First Stop Rentals rents just about everything from carpet cleaners to backhoes. I've been asked to speak about entrepreneurs. Start a business. It'll be fun. It'll be stress-free. Look at me, I'm 38. Here's my story. Back in '93, my dad asked me what my dream job would be, and I thought, well, running a rental store. He asked me what the startup cost would be, and I said $250,000. So he co-signed a loan for me for $50,000. I guess he wanted me to prove that I could do it. Good call. So I don't know how many of you remember my first location. Some people were actually scared to enter because it was not very appealing. We dressed it up as best we could, but it was kind of like walking in on a set of Hoarders. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Having worked at Rental-X, I understood what rentals made money. It didn't take me long to figure out that I had all the demographics wrong. Thankfully, Kempville was patient with me, and I understood I had to retool in a hurry. This location was a whopping 300 square feet. Wow. And so it didn't take much to fill it up with the equipment. 35,000, 300 square feet, no problem. I outgrew that location in a hurry, so the landlord expanded it to 1,000 square feet. Not long after that, a competitor asked me how business was, and I said, great. 6 months later, I had a Quebec rental franchise at my doorstep. I was not impressed at the time because people would reserve stuff at my location and show up at his door. After a year and a half of that, I had had enough and decided to move to the strip mall on Highway 43, where I stayed for 20 years. Looking back, it was one of the best things that ever happened. I outgrew the new location after 10 years, but luckily the township let me park all my equipment on their lawn. I think they knew. My thanks. In 2018, Grenville Community Futures helped me invest in updating my software with a grant. My thanks again. After the 20 years, I put an offer in on the building that I'm at now, but it was conditionally sold. So I approached Corey Lockwood, and we designed a really nice building together. But we ran into a few problems, and that was when I first met Nancy. She was instrumental in addressing most of the problems, but unfortunately, some of the unforeseen costs for such a venture I could not afford, and I had to back out of the deal. Well, a year later, I put another offer on the building. The owner said, here's the keys, I think you'll get it now, so do what you want. Luckily, he was a man of his word, because he had 6 offers the following week after I had cleared the front parking lot. When I legally had possession, we evicted the raccoons who destroyed the place. The building was vacant since '94. First Stop Rentals worked with building inspectors and planners, and the renovations went really smoothly. Thank you. First Stop has made many longtime customers and friends along the way. They have all been very helpful and understood the growing pains. Thanks very much. First Stop has become known as a teaching facility. I would like to thank St. Mike's of North Grenville for sending me the interested co-op students. We enjoy teaching them when they want to learn. Now I try them out for a month, and if they're good, I will pay them, so they do not feel taken advantage of, because in the beginning they think they're doing you a huge favor. 10 years ago, I did a 4-year teaching stint at the college and recruited one of my best students, who is with me to this day. It's very rewarding to have the students come back and let you know how they're doing. Some are shovel operators because they got to play with the toys at my shop, and some have started very successful businesses. A few of the parents have thanked me for teaching their kids new skills. I've always asked them when they move on what they learned, and their reply is always that they couldn't believe how much they learned. Over the years, First Stop was there for the ice storms, tornadoes, power outages, and flooding. Wow. Little speech is getting in the way. Some advice for entrepreneurs. Figure out a job you love. As soon as you decide to start your own business, everyone will see you as a millionaire. Do a pro and con list and have other people you trust double check it. Have a decent business plan, the banks want it. Cash flow is extremely important. Learn how to decipher financial statements, especially profit and loss, and your balance sheet. You'll be able to pinpoint financial problems. The numbers never lie. Shop locally. They depend on you as well. You'll experience setbacks and growing pains, but look at it as an opportunity. There's a whole new workforce out there. Be careful and get good, trustworthy employees as they can run your business for you. Have a good work ethic, and hopefully it rubs off on them. Reach out to Grenville Futures for advice, and ask the township if you want to do something. They have helped me quite a bit. Try to give back to the community. I give when I can to the youth, as they are our future, and I give to the hospice as well, because it's my future. And last but not least, have an exit and succession plan. Thanks again, Kempo. And I just wanted to say, Nancy, I've seen your schedule, and I don't know how you do it.
And I just wanted to say, if you look around and you see the planters and the flowers, those did come from the flower shop. So thank you, Jen, for those. Our final business that we're going to highlight this evening has filled our tummies for 65 years with goodies, and I am not sure why Deb is not 180 pounds heavier. Or 380 pounds. So Graham's Bakery has been in our community for 65 years, and they have been baking delicious treats the traditional way for 3 generations. So speaking on behalf of the family business tonight is Councillor Deb Wilson. Let's give her a warm welcome.
This is bullshit.
What did you say?
No, I didn't. Thank you for having us here, Graham's Bakery. I'm the spokesperson tonight because the real spokesperson and person that runs the bakery is in bed already. So it's my brother Rick. He gets up very early in the morning to get things started. So I get sent to do these public speaking events, which I'm not very good at. I just want to reiterate that we've actually been a business for 140 years. So the bakery was since the flower shop said 70 years with different owners. We were built in 1885 and worked as a bakery since then. We are lucky to have a wood-fired brick oven that we feed every day, and that's how we do our baking. The bakery was established in 1885, records show the deeds that go back over the years, and it was built by Pattersons. It changed hands a few times, only about 4 times. My grandfather started working there in 1939 for the Frisbee family. The Frisbees, he came over from England, Wales, the Isle of Man, and settled here. There's also a Frisbee bakery, I believe, in Arnprior or Renfrew area. So I believe it's the same family. But Bert Frisbee had the bakery. His son, Jim, was supposed to take it over, but he ended up going in for him because he felt abandoned and didn't have anybody to do anything for him. So Grandpa wouldn't work there in 1939, and he stayed there until Bert decided to retire. Bert sold the bakery to Grandpa in 1960, so that's how it became Graham's Bakery. There is my grandfather, my father, my brother, and now my brother's son, Wesley. So now we're into 4 generations of the Grahams in the bakery. So. I've been fired from the bakery, by the way. All I do is the books now and write a few checks here and there. But the problem is because I've got this other job, we have when I was serving customers, we would have lineups out the door. And my brother was saying, Deb, you have to shut up. We got to move these people along. So people were coming in like they do with Deputy Mayor Barkley or what they do with Nancy. They ask questions, and that holds us back from doing our jobs, so I got fired. It's the first Christmas in 27 years that I did not work in the bakery, and I felt good. So Easter, I'm not there either. Our place, our established business over the years has given back to the community in many, many different ways. I guess we were a hockey hub, a hot stove conversation place, not only for hockey, various sports. We're a political hub, and we just like to give back, and we have been so blessed with the community that we have here. And we will continue on. We won't change anything. They say if it's not broken, don't fix it. And that's how we'll keep going. But thank you.
We're only 15 minutes behind, so we're catching up, folks. We're going to have a 10-minute networking and coffee break now, so maybe it might be a sampling break as well. Okay, I'm calling all the recipients up for a group shot, in case you didn't hear Nancy. Yep, they're coming. They must have heard me. They're just chatting.
Hi, I'm Mud.
We've got a 1-minute warning. We'll be starting up again with Mayor Nancy in 1 minute. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can take your seats. For those of you following, Kemptville 73s. 15 minutes into the second period, we are at 2 for Carleton Place, 0 for Kemptville. First at 7 games in the playoffs for Kemptville 73s. I'm going to get right to it here, Nancy. So, you guys are ready? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Nancy Petford made history in 2018 as North Grenville's first female mayor. And yes. And she was re-elected in 2022. Nancy brought over 20 years of experience in government engagement at all levels, and she brings a wealth of leadership to our community. Sorry, Tina.
Okay, that's okay.
You're going to join me?
Sure. Let me compose myself. You know, it is hard to find good help, right?
Yes.
We talked about that?
Yes.
Okay.
It was pointed this way before.
Before her election, Mayor Peckford was Executive Director of Equal Voice, a national nonprofit promoting youth engagement and women in leadership. She spearheaded the 2017 Daughters of the Vote initiative, bringing 338 young women to Parliament to mark 100 years of women's suffrage. In 2014, she was named one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women by the Women's Executive Network.
Please join us in welcoming Mayor Nancy Pecker.
Thank you. I was joking that I think I have more power now, meaningful power, than I might have had in 2014, but it was certainly nice to be recognized back then. So first of all, I think we should give a really heartfelt round of applause once more to all of our business leaders this evening. And what struck me as they were talking is, we often see their faces or obviously see their businesses, but we often don't have the opportunity to hear the stories and really understand all of what they're very intentionally bringing to our community. So it is extremely moving, I think, to see all of the effort and all of the, I think, energy that is brought to offer so many different options and services and heart, really, to North Grenville. Secondly, I do want to acknowledge my council colleagues. We have, of course, Councillor Wilson. We have Deputy Mayor John Barkley. We have Councillor Doreen O'Sullivan, who's in the back. And unfortunately, Councillor Kristen Strachan couldn't be with us, but I know she's watching from home. And I do believe, Michael said something in his remarks around, obviously we're an ambitious council, but we're also a cohesive council. And I think it is important to recognize that. When I was elected in 2018, I knew that none of us brought municipal experience to the table. You might remember that. You took a chance on a group of individuals who had not served in any municipal capacity, certainly electorally. So I recognized through some conversations I had with other seasoned municipal players that really my first job was to foster council cohesion and to ensure that between and among us, to the degree possible, that we could interact with respect, with understanding, with compassion, and with a shared vision for North Grenville. And certainly we've had our differences along the way, but I think we've always come out the other side, understanding each other, and moreover, working extremely hard to understand what the community needs. And I think we're all very community-minded, and we're really inspired by all of you. So thank you to my council. So, and I'm very, obviously it's wonderful that they can be here because they're very much part of the team, my team, our team. So thank you to each and every one of you. And finally, I just want to recognize my dad. Larry Peckford is in the audience. He's gotten to know North Grenville really through me and through his children and grandchildren. And breaking news is after many, many years, Larry is finally moving to Kemptville. He is moving to a rental unit that he got on his own, no help from the mayor, made his own appointments, talked to the appropriate property management folks, and he's on his way. So obviously, I'm raising my family in the community, and many of you see me in a much more harried state in arenas and grocery stores and gas stations and trying to juggle all the various responsibilities. But to have my dad a little bit closer, my late mother, Diane, would have loved to have been here. She was a huge part of the early years of my children's life and really was a backstop when it came to me running for mayor and getting oriented in that role. So I know how much it would mean to her to know that Larry's on his way down. So that's great. So really tonight, and I know we've had, I've learned so much from all of our business leaders, and I see a number of them quite often, but it was great to hear directly and personally from you in this forum. part of the goal was to speak a little bit about the budget, and I'll do that. And then I think what's more interesting is a Q&A that we'll have with Tina and Will. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of highlights before we go to the Q&A format. And we passed our budget, I think, last night at 9:15 p.m., 9:17 p.m., somewhere along there. Karen Dunlop, our CAO, worked very hard with the senior management team here in North Grenville to bring, I think, a budget that represents something that I think we're all very vested in, which is a high quality of life as we grow, as well as a continued steadfast commitment to affordability. So we did look around to see what other communities were doing of our size and our composition in terms of tax rate increases, and we were very pleased to bring in what we feel is a relatively low 3% tax rate increase this year. So certainly below 5, below 10, as we've seen some of our neighboring municipalities do. But we're committed to getting back to 2, quite frankly. I mean, that's where I believe it should be. My council also supported that over a number of years. We got hit with a little inflation along the way and some curveballs because of the pandemic. I think part of growth is that we all benefit, not just from increased options and in the community, but that we can ensure that we make the appropriate investments required in all sorts of arenas, but at the same time keep the tax rates relatively low. Some people have asked about impact assessments, and the fact that reassessments of properties have not happened now in almost 9 years. We continue to be assured by the provincial government that once a reassessment occurs, and I don't see it anytime soon, really, given the more dramatic developments south of the border, but it will be phased in, and every municipality will actually, based upon any increased assessment that would occur wholesale across any community, would be compelled to actually adjust its tax rate dramatically because we only need so much money to run a municipality, so we wouldn't be capitalizing on the fact that in some cases property values may have doubled. But again, given what's come our way with President Trump, I don't think you'll see a reassessment, certainly not in the near future. And I can assure you the provincial government is astutely and very they're very engaged with what the economic impacts of an impact reassessment would be. But apart from that, really we organized the budget into 4 themes: economic growth, infrastructure and roads, kind of writ large, recreational and community spaces, and housing and development. And these, interestingly, were themes that emerged through a budget survey we did and through some various consultations that have happened across the last couple of years. So we asked Karen, our CEO, okay, Karen, this is really where we think we can deliver the best value to the community. What does that look like? So obviously, there's so many ways that is achieved, those 4 themes. And we're just a small part of a much bigger pie, as Mr. Barrett will know, among other levels of government. So just obviously these are highlights. 43, just for anyone who doesn't know, is well underway. We're expecting it to finish in late 2026. So, we're almost halfway through, arguably. And what you'll see later this year, of course, is a brand new 2-lane bridge with the completion of the other 2 lanes next year. So that would take us into 2026. Lane twinnings are happening, as you can see, and we'll look forward to some roundabout development for the 4 roundabouts that are coming our way shortly. So some of those you'll see take formation later this spring into the fall. As you know, Tomlinson's been the contractor. This is a joint project between the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville, as well as the municipality. And for interest, if you're not aware, our share of the project is about $10 million. The counties is on the hook for about 45. Is that accurate? Yes, that would be 35 rather. So our 10 is accounted for in terms of that 40 million, and there was an additional 5 million spent in the lead up, just in terms of engineering, property acquisition, what have you. So we look forward to the completion of the project and certainly thank the community for their patience. We have a great Director of Public Works out of the counties who's done a fabulous job of keeping this budget on time, on budget. So, point final. The federal, yes. Yes. Our own Director of Public Works here at North Grenville is Mike Finley, and he's been quite involved in the underground water and sewer, lighting, multi-use pathways. Karen, water and sewer, anything else? So those are the elements for which North Grenville is legislatively responsible, and it's why we kicked in $10 million, because parts of the project are in our jurisdiction when we look at underground infrastructure and some of the other infrastructure. So nice to see that that's materializing. It was one of really 3 priorities that emerged back in 2018 when I was campaigning. It didn't matter where I was in North Grenville. It was remarkable. I'd be in the far reaches of Bishop's Mills asking people what their priority was, and they would say 43. And so it became very obvious. I mean, I was a resident here at the time, but it became very obvious that 43 mattered in a tremendous amount in terms of being a regional thoroughfare, and also having some very severe limitations at the time, which is that you can't really cross it safely as a pedestrian or on a bike. There are real limitations to that road, and as some of you will recall, someone was tragically killed on that road a number of years ago, and it was clear. The other thing we benefited from with 43, of course, was a federal provincial grant, the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, and as a consequence, there was another close to $9 million contributed by another level of government. So, that was definitely a big deal. Other things that we had top of mind in terms of budget commitments is obviously our collaboration with the Chamber, the Old Town BIA, and the business community writ large matters to us. We have made strategic investments in the Chamber and the BIA that were enabled actually through some provincial and federal programs that we received during monies that we received during the height of the pandemic, and we've been able to leverage those to continue our support. Certainly, we are a dynamic and thriving business community, but we fully recognize that without the support of business networks that really enable businesses to come together and learn, share best practices, create some solidarity and some larger, I think, business momentum is really key. I was asking Matt Gilmer, who's here. Matt, where are you? You still here? Yes. Matt's in the kitchen. I was asking Matt yesterday, Matt, remind me, how many businesses have we welcomed in recent times? And notably, during the pandemic, we grew as a business community. That did not happen in a lot of business communities. So I wanted to know, well, what's the difference between the pandemic and now? And believe it or not, between 2023 and 2024, this is Stats Canada data, 82 new business starts. That is really wonderful. And I will note, the Stats Canada definition is a business with no employees, i.e. you're a single entrepreneur, you might be working out of your home, or you're a very large business. So 82 new business starts for a community of 19,000. So the parameters for those 82 businesses were municipal borders. The other thing that Matt highlighted for me is we've created in between 2020 and 2024 almost 1,000 new jobs. That's 15% increase. So that's really good news. And I remember having the conversation with Jim Beveridge, well before I was elected, about being a net employer or saying goodbye to most of your employable residents, and how North Grenville really changed from being a net employer to one where clearly we have more of a commuter population now, owing to the 416 and the fact that many people work for the federal public service. But to see the generation of some of those local jobs that keep people here and leverage their expertise and talents is really heartwarming. And when Jocelyn spoke of 60 employees at Kentville Brewing Company, I might have guessed 20. So, 60 really, I think, is emblematic of... That's right. Another 5% right there. So, clearly, we want to support our local business community. We sometimes hear that sometimes people moving into North Grenville don't take the opportunity to look around. We found that through the pandemic, certainly, people had to rally around their local community for lots of different reasons, including public health, and people got to know, I think, the breadth and depth of our business community in a new way. But as we grow our local businesses, that's obviously imperative, and we have a number of campaigns, whether it's a Shop Local campaign or a Love NG campaign, or more recently, we really wanted to highlight businesses on 43 because we know that obviously some people are avoiding 43 or anticipating congestion that may or may not exist on a particular day. So we look forward to continuing those campaigns. So other pieces, quickly before I go to Q&A, we have strategic investments in infrastructure that were long planned. Many of you would be aware that we issued last April, after almost a decade of planning, and I'll look to Karen in case I get the numbers wrong. So our tender was for a $66 million expansion of our sewage treatment plant, which is 30 years old, was reaching the end of its life/capacity. It's been incredibly well maintained. It will still serve the community well for the next 30 years, but it was in need of rehabilitation and expansion. There was no doubt. Thankfully, we did secure a $21 million grant this past fall. I think the announcement was in October. So it's a $21 million agreement. I should say it's not a grant, it's an agreement with the province. They anticipated potentially needing capacity at our plant down the road, and through a 2-year negotiation, we finally got to a $21 million number. If anyone is unclear about this fact, I do want to highlight that the sewage treatment plant investment is not borne by the tax base writ large. The costs to cover that investment, which will take us for certainly the next 30 years, or will cover us for the next 30 years, are recuperated through development charges and through user fees on the system. So, our growth in that way is very important. So as we make investments in these larger facilities, it's important that we grow because they do serve a growing community. And again, through conversations with Jim Beveridge, he did remind me of the controversy around the establishment of I think, North Grenville's plant 30 years ago, which was a significant upgrade to what Kemptville had seen before. Certainly at that time, there was more provincial money on the table than there is now. So the 21 million was hard fought. It wasn't easy, but I would like to recognize that MPP Clark was instrumental to our efforts to get that agreement established. And if he were here, I'd certainly look him in the eye and thank him again for working with us very diligently through various different ministries and senior public servants who, one day you're dealing with someone and then the next day they're gone off to a different portfolio. So you kind of got to start again. So we ultimately got it done. But, there are other infrastructure commitments that are important. The CT scanner at our local hospital, a point of pride, and the community just so beautifully rallied to certainly cover the remaining amount that didn't come from the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville or ourselves. In total, we put in $2 million, and the community raised over $2 million to support the rest of that acquisition. So we're incredibly excited to see that come online. And I know Katie is here from Kemptville District Hospital back in the room at Katie Hogue, and it's going to do a number of things. And we had this argument with the counties because initially the counties wasn't that interested or inclined to support the bricks and mortar for the CT scanner. And then the chief of paramedic service came and said, I don't think you understand how many transfers we're doing out of Kemptville District Hospital. And we're taking our paramedics out of Kemptville. They're sitting at the Queensway, they're sitting at the Ottawa General or the Ottawa Civic, and our response times are slower. So for mayors who, up to that point, apart from myself, of course, who didn't understand the significance of the CT scanner, that was a very important moment for them to really understand why an investment in Kemptville is actually an investment in the county. So that was great to see. We're also looking at the revitalization of the Township Hall. We're looking at expanding our fire services to include a second fire station. And then finally, and maybe I can leave it here and talk about housing on the stage, because you can see I can go on for a long time. You know, we've made as a council a very conscious decision to invest in a community grants program. And to also to support other services that some might consider out of jurisdiction, but are pivotal to, I think, fostering a quality of life where we care deeply about all of our residents. And through the pandemic, it became obvious that the role that, for example, food banks played, or other services like victim services or Beth Donovan or the Kemptville Senior Center or the Youth Center, and more recently a wonderful group has come together called Compassionate Communities, and we have a kind of broad coalition of individuals and organizations coming to really talk about the value of consciously committing and fostering a network of organizations that are kind of knitted together through this compassionate communities ethos. And compassionate communities is about caring from someone from the day they're born till the day they may pass away, whether it's here or somewhere else. So through the pandemic, and increasingly, and I'm very grateful to my council and to staff, we really have made a very, I say the word conscious, it's the only word that comes to mind. We've made an explicit commitment that we will support organizations in North Grenville that are serving others. And if sometimes it's some other level of government that should fund them, which is sometimes what you hear, we don't really need to fund that group. I don't hear that from my council, but I sometimes hear it from other municipalities. I say no, and my council's been behind me all the way. Every resident in North Grenville deserves to have a high quality of life, every single one. And it's the small things that sometimes matter in terms of a Meals on Wheels program or an after-school program or a counseling service at Beth Donovan, and you know, on it goes, that allow people to stay here, to connect with the humanity of others, and to feel valued for who they are here in North Grenville. And whether you've been here, you know, 3 days, 3 years, 4 generations, everyone is worthy of that respect and that caring. So we've been very fortunate to use our budget process to ensure that we continue to make those commitments. So I think what I'll do is I'll come over to you, and I have some other points from our budget that I think we can touch upon during the Q&A. Does that sound good?
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor Peckford. So we'll ask a few questions, and then if you guys have some questions, we'll have some time for that as well. So you get to start.
I do. I'm going to ask you a question that isn't on here. It's about transit. That's one thing that you didn't mention, and I'm wondering, how has that been working out, the NG Transit, and are there further investments in the budget?
Do we have?
It should just happen.
Yeah. Oh, it does happen. Okay, that's good.
You don't have to do anything.
Thank you. I know, there's so much to say. I really appreciate that question. Well, okay, so I apologize for doing that, and for those who are watching from home. And we did decide to live stream this event, incidentally, because we live stream our council meetings and some of our community engagement meetings, and we felt that what we're saying here tonight and all of the wonderful words of our local businesses deserve to kind of live on in the digital universe and would allow certain people to catch it later. So glad for the wonderful AV support. So we decided, again, it was during the pandemic, really, when council asked our staff to do a transit analysis and really see whether or not this community could support some sort of transit program. And we went out to seasoned experts who have watched or supported other communities to do this. And as we came out of the pandemic, really, in, I think, late 2021, early 2022, we said, based upon what we could see from a business analysis perspective, that we wanted to start with a single on-demand bus that would be open to any member of the community, so it wasn't age limited, other than you have to be 12 and up to ride the bus, but other than that, and it wouldn't be contingent on a particular demand. So it wasn't just for medical services. If you needed to go to a grocery store, you could use it. If you needed to go to an appointment, you could use it. If you wanted to come to our municipal facility and catch a 73s game, you could use it. We knew that the calculation that mattered here, which would allow us to avail of some provincial funding, was ridership. So municipalities are rewarded, if you will, through the gas tax, the provincial gas tax, if they run a publicly funded transit system and if they have a sufficient number of users. So initially, there was some thought that maybe we should create a service that was specific to Kemptville and grow it out. But I think council, all of council at the time, said no, if we're going to do an on-demand service, it should be available to anyone in the municipality because it's a taxpayer-supported service. So if you live in Oxford Mills, why should you be denied that service? Even though the consulting team at the time thought maybe that was, that it was better to kind of start small, right? We're very, very big, so a ride out to Bishop's Mills takes some time. But we knew it was an on-demand service, and using some technology to consolidate rides so that if there's a request for a ride in Bishops and then Oxford Mills and then coming into Kemptville, that a driver could be as efficient as possible with that service. So all of that to say, we gave direction to staff to launch the service, which is a partnership with a transit operator that had significant success in another part of the province. We didn't purchase a bus. We effectively leased a bus through our contract with them. And we hit and surpassed all of our expected ridership in 6 months. So when the consultant said it might take you a year to build this service, in fact, the opposite was true. We surpassed all expectations within 6 months. As a consequence of that, we were able to capitalize on increased funding from the provincial government. And just last night, as part of our budget, we have...
That's great news. And leaving, some of our residents with the funds needed for other pursuits, like a visit to the B&H.
And I should say, we're an unusual community in that we don't currently have any licensed private taxi services. It's a mystery to us. We updated our bylaws back in 1819. Last year, we took another look at the regulatory framework for private and licensed, of course, taxi services. We lowered, I think, we addressed and tried to improve upon what we were hearing were some limitations, because many smaller communities have taxi services, and we understand that people are often without options here in very dire circumstances. So clearly, at this point, the service is meeting a huge need. We'll see how things evolve over time, but I can tell you that that second bus will be very well utilized, and we hope it allows more of our youth to use the service because we know they need it. And sometimes if the bus is at capacity or if they have to wait a few hours, they're not going to use the service. So we're very hopeful that with more capacity, we'll be able to better serve all of the needs in the community.
Very good.
Very good. Okay, so business growth, of course, coming from the Chamber, that's important for us. And so in a community like ours, there's lots of different businesses, and you addressed it in your talk about the sizes, one person, hundreds of people. What are you doing as leadership in this community to help the diversification of business growth?
Yeah, so, well, certainly I think supporting organizations like the Chamber and the Old Town BIA are foundational steps that we need to do. But from an infrastructure perspective, a lot of the conversation around the council table and the municipal table is how do we ensure that some of those larger employers may be coming into the community? How do we ensure that nascent businesses, for example, like any of those that were honored today, are able to grow? Katie Nolan, who I think is still in the room, would remind us that all the studies show that your best drivers of employment are your local businesses. They're not, the miracle, often I think panaceas that we imagine, right? They really, the more strength that your local business community has, the more they are well positioned to create that kind of employment. That being said, we know that we have some gaps in terms of service land. So if you are a business, and maybe you're a larger business and you want to come into the community, there are some limitations in North Grenville around servicing. So again, last night, one of the commitments that we wanted to formalize and that Karen brought to the table was to look at extending some of our water and sewer, underground water and sewer, to open up the development of certain lands that effectively at this point, not many developers would touch, commercial developers, without bringing a lot of money to the table. And we've been waiting, in some cases, for 20, 30 years for those lands to be developed, and it's not going to happen without, I think, North Grenville having some skin in the game, if you will. So we've identified some of the areas that are either formally or informally designated as employment lands, and we've activated through the budget some financial commitments to do the studies, to actually undertake preliminary designs, so that we create some more opportunities where currently there isn't. We know that one of the challenges smaller businesses tell us is that they don't have a lot of room, they don't have a lot of options for expansion. So they get into a spot, sure, it's fine, but if they're intending to grow, expand, leverage their success, they're not always finding affordable, appropriate commercial space. And Neil went through that too in his expansion. So we know the more we can open up some lands that are well suited, that are zoned appropriately, these aren't residential lands, these are typically vacant commercial or industrial lots. Some of them are brownfields, so that's its own complexity. I think the more we'll be able to help engender those opportunities. And I should say, many people ask us about a hotel. And we've been working very hard to respond to the interest that's been expressed by a couple of hotel developers, one of which went so far as to have a site plan approved by the municipality, but has subsequently, up to this point, not moved ahead. But there are other investors and individuals who are interested. Prescott, you may know, has just gotten a Quality Inn. So we understand there's opportunity, but it is really about making sure that we're well positioned as a municipality to work to capitalize on that interest when it emerges.
Okay. On the same subject of growth in the community, how are we ensuring that we're not growing too quickly and compromising the quality of life locally?
Yes, and I'm so grateful to have Mattamy here tonight, because I know that particular subdivision is the subject of lots of conversation in the community, and I think it's important that we hear directly from them. What's fascinating about Mattamy is how many people I've met who are actually local or from the region. So a lot of people who were looking for a different housing option who live here in North Grenville have found their way over to Mattamy. And the same was true of Tempo, which is just across the street here. What direction? I can't remember. Yes, over there. So we know that some of what we're seeing in terms of growth is housing developments that obviously they don't only respond to the needs of our community. They are attracting people from far and wide. But it's clear that certainly with the pandemic, North Grenville's growth is accelerating. that is certainly the case in ways that I don't think we would have expected. So we went from, it was, what was the number? About 2% growth a year, steady as she goes, to now having projections of anywhere between 12 and 25% over the next 5 years. That's a lot of homes. It's a lot of homes. It's a lot of new people to welcome. Some of that is being enabled, obviously, by the fact that we do have some larger subdivisions that are coming online. Where Mattamy is building, that subdivision agreement was approved. This is a legal agreement, a legal contract that the municipality enters into with a subdivision developer, which is sort of the precondition for larger subdivisions and smaller ones, as it turns out. So that subdivision had been in the works since 2017, so it took about 7 years to come online. But as we grow, certainly I think it is critical that we invest in some of our community services, as I've mentioned, but also our community spaces and recreational amenities. And that has been something that has been top of mind for this council. As some of you will remember, Riverside Park, which I call North Grenville's sort of central park, because it's large, it has a ton of history, it's in the heart of our downtown, had certainly received some modest upgrades, but in our opinion as a council back in the day, when we first got elected, we felt that it could benefit from a significant revitalization. So as you all know by now, we now have an outdoor rink, we have a splash pad, we have a totally renovated pool house, which can serve the community for all 4 seasons, not just a season and a little bit. And we've introduced a multi-use pathway so that you can enjoy this wonderful green space. And, that was strategic because we understood that, there's been an imbalance, if you will, between commercial development on 43 versus what was happening in our downtown. And we knew that that park could be a driver of bringing people into the heart of Kemptville. So those investments were important to us, but they weren't the only ones. We've invested in every single park, municipal park, in North Grenville in some way, shape, or form through our participation money and through the budgetary allocations to Parks and Rec. And most recently, and I would imagine many of you have heard about this, we are now boldly pursuing the establishment of what would be one of Eastern Ontario's largest sports domes. It's an exciting initiative for us because what we often hear from people who've been here for many decades or are newer to the community is that we have very limited recreational space. So whether you're part of a rec league, for any field sport or court sport, it is exceedingly difficult, obviously, to access space. Obviously, a lot of the field sports are seasonal. And we had the opportunity to tour a couple of sports domes through some work we're doing with the French Catholic Board, who are planning to build a $10 million facility here on Kemptville campus. And through our conversations with them, it became evident that we could build a sports dome, should we get some provincial support, that would really be a game changer in terms of serving a local recreational community and a regional one. So we've been working with Minister Neil Lumsden. Some of you may recognize that name. He's a former CFL football player, hugely passionate about recreation. I've got the name right, Neil Lumsden? Yeah. There's a Gary Lumsden and a Neil Lumsden. And we went in last August to have a conversation because there's a $200 million rec fund on the table from the province. They usually do this about every 5 years, sometimes before an election, sometimes after. And we went in with a couple of ideas about how we could avail of several $1 million from that 200. And we opened the door to a sports dome conversation, and the ministry lit up, council and our staff were highly engaged on the economic impacts a dome could have, but moreover, how it could support youth, seniors, families, all ages and stages. We don't have an indoor walking track. anywhere in North Grenville. A lot of our residents are going to other communities. They're going to Cardinal, they're going to Smith Falls, they're going to Ottawa, just to be able to walk indoors safely in the winter. So this dome would be a multifaceted facility that would serve an array of different needs. And how does that relate to growth? In our opinion, we are invested, as I've mentioned, to ensuring a high quality of life, and fostering community cohesion is so key. And you know, when I came to North Grenville in 2010-11 as a new resident, it was through recreation that we built community. It's often how it happens. It's also through service, whether you're with a service club, but bringing people together in a variety of different ways is, in my opinion, a moral responsibility we have, particularly with the growth. Because if we can't bring people together, all of the heart, all of the connections, all of the ways that people can support our local businesses become that much more difficult if you're not in conversation with each other. So we want neighbors to be good neighbors, and we want our new residents to make friends with older residents, seasoned residents of our community, and we think investing in recreation is certainly part of what we need to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to, in the what's the word, the pursuit of time,
Yeah.
in the interests of time, that we're going to move to some audience questions, some questions from the floor, if that's okay. Who has a question? We've got Matt over here with a microphone, and Tammy.
Geraldine.
Geraldine has one, so Matt's on the... Geraldine on the mic.
I commend you for all the growth and all the support of the businesses and the recreational facilities that we're going to see in the future. And I wonder what plans you have for the arts and cultures in this community, because that is a great source of communication, neighborhoodly spirit and whatnot. And we have a lot of musicians, we have a lot of theater people and a lot of visual artists who are looking for some support.
It's a great question. It was on my list. We just didn't get there. And Deputy Mayor is smiling at me because both John and Debbie serve on the Arts and Culture Committee. And in fact, we've actually established a heritage reserve now through our budget process, as well as an arts and culture fund to support various arts and culture initiatives in the community. We did a first round of approvals about 9 months ago, and the second one is coming. We've also taken a hard look at the Oxford Mills, the old Oxford Mills Township Hall. It's got a federal heritage designation. It's a really unique building. It's languished for a number of years. We've made some initial investments to ensure the building doesn't deteriorate in ways that couldn't be redeemed. We, in addition to that, very recently approved a possible path forward for the redemption, the full redemption and utilization of that facility. And it's not the only building we have our eye on, but it's certainly a very important building in the community. So I can assure you the arts and culture conversation at the council table is alive and well, and we have a fantastic committee. Some of you here may be a member of that committee, and we are definitely working hard to grow our capacity to support and engage on the arts and culture side, for sure. And I have wonderful art in my office that features a lot of local artists, and there's more artworks just outside of this hallway, so we know how incredibly talented this community is.
Anyone else? Oh.
Hi, I used to live in Bell Hall about 50 years ago. I heard that you're thinking of turning it into some rental apartments, which I think is fabulous. Is that right?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. Thank you so much, because it was something we wanted to touch on. So, you know, you were right. Bell Hall has an illustrious history. And since 2017, when the University of Guelph left, and perhaps a little bit before that, that building has laid dormant. I'm so glad to see Annie Hillis here, who's our new executive director of Kemptville Campus. As Jim says, Jim Beveridge mentioned, we own 626 acres. It's extraordinary. It's right in the heart of our community. It's an incredible asset. And I commend, as I've said in the past, the Council of the Day for forging ahead with that acquisition. But back to Bell Hall. So Bell Hall was used as our COVID assessment center for a couple of years, which was very helpful. It was actually a good space, a suitable space. After the pandemic was over, we took a hard look at what was the best use of that building. We did look at some potential commercial, municipal building space in there for offices and what have you, but it proved to be very, very challenging, arguably insurmountable in terms of cost. So in the last 9 months, we decided to look at whether or not we could focus exclusively on a residential repurposing. And through the jigs and the reels, as we would say in Newfoundland, we, on January 31st, after much work, we engaged some external builders, architects, engineers who came in. They looked at every piece of that building to determine whether or not we could repurpose what is a 200-bed dormitory into 60 seniors and veterans apartments. We made an application to the Canada Housing Mortgage Corporation for up to $30 million. We worked actively with the Canada Housing Mortgage Corporation all through the fall to ensure that this application met with every parameter that they required to ensure the application was viable. And we now have a federal election upon us shortly. And we've appealed to our own MP, who's here this evening, to do everything in his power to ensure that this application gets across the finish line. We know that 60 seniors affordable apartments in Kemptville it's the largest single multi-residential build that would be exclusively affordable in North Grenville's history. We really need to get this done. I want to thank the campus and Annie and her team and the board. They've been with us the whole way. They understand the merits of repurposing this building. They've supported us on the sports dome application, which would also go on a somewhat dormant piece of land on Kemptville campus right off County Road 44. So we know that already, the fact that we have the campus presents new and exciting opportunities. So I'm really hoping that in both instances, we get the partner we need at the provincial and federal government and we can hit go. That Bell Hall facility could be up and running in 2 years. If we got the funding in the next month, the bones of that building are good. It's putting in a couple of elevators, which would be attached to the external part of the building. So they do some fancy footwork to sort of extend the building and encapsulate elevators that are required. But there's a lot to that building that is very viable in its current form, and we want nothing more than to see it occupied.
Very cool. Any other questions?
Tammy.
So Mayor Peckford, this is a very broad question. You've got a lot of room to address it. But with what's happening south of the border, with the tariffs and everything that's filtering down, how do you see that affecting us? In other words, do you have any concerns, anything we need to worry about as a municipality? I mean, we're all involved in this as Canadians, but do you have any concerns where it really might hurt us as a municipality?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's on all of our minds much of the time. I spent most of the day at County Council, United Counties Council, and it was a subject of much conversation. What's become obvious is North Grenville has a procurement bylaw that needs to be updated so that we can better support and engage local vendors. So that is key. In terms of defending Canada's interests, clearly Canada is not for sale. Clearly, we have no interest in being the 51st state, but we have a very unpredictable president in our friends to the south, and I think we need to fortify hard and fortify fast, and there's lots of different ways to do that. I sit at County Council next to the president of AMO. Her name is Robin Jones. So she's the president of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. AMO is working very, very hard to develop a municipal sort of platform that would be implemented with the provincial government to stabilize businesses that may already be losing money, to support local procurement policies, because up to now there have been some limitations through free trade agreements and other corporate limitations, and to also, I think, work to ensure that municipalities aren't disproportionately carrying some of the burden. One of the examples I can give is that sewage treatment plant I talked about, our water pollution control facility. A lot of the parts are currently slated to be sourced from the US. So they're not insignificant parts. It's not just a screw here or a screw there. They're a big part of what we're anticipating needing to replace or expand upon at the treatment facility. We're going to be looking to the province to support us. We cannot bear that burden alone, and I know if MPP Clark was here, he'd certainly be supporting me in that message, and certainly MP Barrett is very familiar with this conversation and with the role that a new federal government could play in ensuring that municipalities don't take a hit. I'll say during the pandemic, the feds and the province, they worked beautifully together. It was extraordinary. And as a consequence, municipalities weren't facing an economic crisis, even when we did see some very significant financial obstacles come our way, and we saw our local business community fighting for its life. So we definitely understand deeply that multilateral, multi-level government collaboration with the municipal sector is going to be hugely important. And it's why, and maybe I can close out my comments this way, I'm very appreciative for the conversations and the ongoing relationships I have at the federal and provincial level. No one exists in a vacuum, and whether it's 43 or Bell Hall or Sports Dome or water pollution control plant, and I could list 30 other things, you cannot do it in a vacuum, and you absolutely have to ensure that you leverage every single opportunity and you make our community's priorities well known. And I, as many understand me to be, am very tenacious, and I walk a fine line between ensuring that people who can support us in our mission fully understand what it means to North Grenville, and I'm deeply appreciative for the collaboration we've received to date, and I know that will only continue as we move forward.
Thank you very much. So thank you, Mayor Peckford. We're going to wrap up the evening shortly, but we want to thank you, our municipal partners, our MP for attending this evening, and all you folks that came out to pay tribute to some of our local businesses and hear what the mayor had to say.
And I think we have a surprise for you.
Oh.
Oh. Just gonna have to hold that. Tina, thank you very much for agreeing to host this evening.
Thank you very much.
Will, this is for you.
Okay. Thank you.
It's just as good as flowers in a
Yes.
different package.
Yes. Thank
So
you very much.
thank you to Tina and Will for their support. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to stick around a little bit, probably talk if you want to stick around. Thank you all for joining us this evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.